Okay, in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the forecast versus actual data that you need to put into your PowerPoint presentation. The first thing you need to do is you need to get your actual figures, and I've just pulled up it doesn't matter if it's the web or the PDF version of the Capstone Courier, but you need to get this information. And the first thing I would do is I would pull off the sales from the first page. If I go to sales, I don't know whether you can see this very well, but it's in this row right here, sales. I'm going to make it big so you can see it. If I'm Team Andrews, then my sales would have been 115.8 million. So I have a 115,861, and you can express it. You can express it. It's just 115,861. So in this, you would put, forecast versus actual, and that would be in thousands. Let's look at this. It was 115,861, and we're going to round down. Okay. And then from there, your variable costs. And then the place you can get your variable costs is to scroll down to your income statement, and it gives you your variable interest cost right here at 75,543, 75.5 million, 75,543. So doing a quick math, that means that your sales minus your variable costs will give you your period, will give you your contribution margin. And I'm going to continue to make this bigger. And then you'll go again into the income statement, and you'll pull off your period costs, and those refer to all of this information right here: your depreciation, your SG&A, your other, and we want to add all that up. So 9.69670 plus 16,693 plus 6640 and then you're going to have interest charges and all that other stuff, but let's just go to the bottom line here. So this won't add up necessarily, but I'm okay with it. Negative 200,000. And that's what this would look like. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to format it in typical money. And then I'm going to express each of these as a percent of sales. So G10 divided by this, and then I'm pressing the F4 button. So it's divided by G10 F4 to make it absolute, meaning that and I'm going to make it also a percentage, so that when I drag it down, it divides each one of these line items by the total sales. Now I've got this backwards, unfortunately. This is actuals, so it belongs right there instead. Okay, now you also have to pull off your forecast. The forecasted value is not available in the Capstone Courier or anywhere else in the CapSim software that I'm aware of. So I did advise everybody prior to the last week that the last round that they'll be presenting, before that round processes, to go in and pull down your pro forma income statement. Okay, so from there you'll have what your forecast was, and I'm just going to make up some numbers. If you missed the opportunity to pull down your pro forma income statement, then just make up some numbers that you can work with. I don't recommend that. In fact, you should never do that in real life. But in this situation, if you didn't take your forecasted values down off Capsim from the pro forma income statement prior to the Tuesday 11 o'clock deadline most recently passed, then you can just make up some numbers to work with. I don't have a team, so I'm going to make this say 120. Maybe this was 73,251. Maybe the contribution margin would then be calculated as this minus that. And I forgot to put a 0 right there. And my period costs were maybe 32,564. And my net profit, which it's not equal to contribution subtract period costs. The net profit would be some figure, let's just say it was 1.2 million. Okay. And I'm going to take that format and copy it all the way down as well. Okay, then I want to take this as a percentage of sales. I want to make it a percentage, and then I just want to copy all that down as well. Okay, from there I can calculate what my variance was in dollars. What I do is I take my actual and I subtract my sales. And then I have to decide whether these were favorable or unfavorable variances. So again, don't get caught into thinking negative values are always bad and positive values are always good. Just look at the numbers and make your decision based on the numbers. You forecasted 120 million in sales, but you only sold 115 million. So that's favorable because what you actually accomplished was less than what you set out to do in the forecast. For here, your variable costs, I would look at the percent right here, and I would see that I forecasted variable costs of 61%, but I actually incurred variable costs of 65%, so my costs were higher than anticipated, so I would go unfavorable. Notice how I used the percentages to make this decision here. Okay, contribution margin, what happened there was I expected to have 39% contribution margin, but I only had 35%. Contribution margin is a profitability figure, so I would have to say that in that case, if my actual was less than the 39% that I gathered at negative 6.4 million, that was unfavorable. And then I would go to my period costs, which is a cost. I thought my costs would be 27% of sales, but they were actually 28% of sales. So that was also unfavorable because my costs were higher than what I figured. And then I would look at my net profit. I was expecting to have a net profit of 1%, but I had a net profit of close to 0, which was unfavorable because I didn't achieve my target. Okay? So I would take this title up here, forecast, and what year it was, which would have been, I believe, year 2025 in this simulation, but put whatever year it is, and you're done. Just make it look pretty for your PowerPoint presentation and paste it in.